Good morning, y'all. You will soon see me, and here I am. I am Daniel Aaron, and I'm delighted to be here with you. And as I'm panning around, I wonder if you know where I am. You may not know the area, or you may recognize it. And specifically, where am I? As in, what is this structure that I'm in? What is this structure that we're all in? And thank you for tuning in. Today I got something to share about that which is prohibited and non-monogamy, and answering the big question, does it work or does it not work? And where I am, by the way, if you didn't figure it out, I'll show you. Can I show you? No. Well, maybe we'll get the audio effect that will tell us. I am underneath the train tracks. I am under the bridge, and which is equivalent to I am at the back of the bus, which is equivalent to I am doing something illicit. Now, sexuality, for many of us, is still, even with having worked on it, gotten conscious about it, is still something that feels illicit, feels like something we're not supposed to do. And part of the value of what Osho Bhagwan Rajneesh offered into the world is to say, hey, you know what? Let's get real about it. Everybody's got desires. And I am near to an ashram, actually, in this area, where there was a massive scandal and a ton of pain some years ago because of a denial of that which is natural to human beings, at least on the biological level. Now, enough philosophy. Monogamy, does it work or does it not work? Depends. I woke up this morning, I smile because it cracks me up. I woke up this morning with the thought and the song. All right, the song I'll give you first, Grateful. You know that song by my friend Daniel Namod and Nemo? If you don't know it, Grateful. Check it out, listen to it, sing it. Two, that song was going through my head, and the phrase that came to me also there immediately when I woke up, I'm so grateful for this, is seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else shall be added unto you. A friend of mine yesterday was telling me about some svadhyayak, that's the yogic term for self-inquiry, some noble work that she is doing, which is looking at her way of communicating. And, you know, is it really serving her and the beings around her, or is it an old pattern that she has? And, you know, I so appreciated that, and I know that's how many of y'all operate, maybe all of y'all operate, if you're listening to me, if you're tuned in here. And to me, that is, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. If we look for that which is in the way of, as again Jesus said, the peace that passeth all understanding, if we look for it, or maybe we don't even need to look for it if we're open to it, if we notice the moments when we are contracted or constrained or upset, then that is our Ganesha moment of opportunity to say, hey, wait a minute, here is an obstacle to the kingdom of heaven, which is always available to me. Now, some of us have been very ambitious and pushy about our awakening to the kingdom of heaven. And I can say for me, my experience with non-monogamy in many ways was that. And I'll put it to you this way. Does it work or does it not work? Depends a whole lot on what do you want. What's your aim? What's your goal? Because I'll tell you this, if you want a peaceful life, a simple life, a life without conflict, it does not work. I was at an ashram in Holland one time, and we were having a, what do you call it, darshan, which is like a meeting with the guru or the teacher. And one of my compatriots there, disciple we could say, or friends, he says to the teacher, the guru, he's like, do you have to be enlightened for a non-monogamous relationship, for an open relationship, was how he phrased it. And the guru, his name was Viresh, he smiled and looked at him, he's like, well, definitely helps. Because What's the motivation? Now, on the other side, if your motivation for non-monogamy is seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and I am so committed to awakening, to moving through whatever's in the way, then it works. It's powerful. It is not easy for most people. Even the people that I thought, you know what, they don't experience jealousy, oh my goodness, they must be enlightened. Every one of those, with the exception of maybe one, and I don't know. The sound is still okay. Hey, I'm going to move over a little bit into the recesses of the cave, the under the bridge part where maybe the wind is whipping a little less. And you know, the truth is we don't know anybody else's experience anyway. And you know, the ones that I thought were so free and didn't seem to be suffering in the same ways that I was suffering, later on I saw it hit for them too. So one of the questions to ask ourselves around this is, what do we want? Because if we want to kind of cruise by and have an easier life, and I'm not putting that down, by the way, because I certainly want that at times, and that is how I live at times. And where I've come to personally in terms of relationship is I want a monogamous relationship. I have experienced the tumult of non-monogamy, and I don't know if I will again. But where I'm at is I want to have the experience of an ongoing relationship that develops in that way. And it's not right or good or bad. I wonder what you want. Some would say non-monogamy is pushing the river. Some would say non-monogamy is wrong. Some would say, but what would you say? Part of where I look at it now, non-monogamy or work in life or feedback is, we don't have to go looking for ants at the picnic, y'all. You know what I mean? Life is challenging enough. The things show up, especially if we are in relationship with anyone, in a community, in a one-to-one intimate relationship, parenting, job. Anytime there is relationship, there is an interaction of patterns, neuroses, brilliance, and God qualities also, because that's our true nature. Now, anything that's in the way, which is, as Wayne Dyer said, ego, edging God out, is going to show up. And so the question for us is, what do we do when it shows up? Now, I'm going to wrap up. The question, does monogamy work or not work? Depends on what you want. If your main goal is to wake up, to go through anything, to blast yourself through your own jealousies, fears, concerns, loneliness, anger, well, it works, because most of those things are going to show up for most of us. If your goal is a simpler life, or as I love the way it was put in Blackberries in the Dream Bush, I may be messing up that title, and the author I forget. Beautiful book of poetic prose story, and there is a gorgeous love story between a monk and a geisha, set way back in Japan. And at one point, the geisha says, "Now I choose to put my energy into art, to save the drama outside of my life and put the drama into art." If you're going into non-monogamy, awesome. As my friend once said, either you're going to love it or you're going to learn a lot, or maybe both. And plan for, expect, be open to, and maybe embrace the drama. Because hey, life is drama. That's what we're here for. Now, y'all, I lament we didn't get a train to go over our heads, and I promise you, I'll bring you back one day soon for the Rumble. And for now, that's it from me. Thanks, y'all. I'll see you on the flip side.